So how does a pretty small portrait by Leonardo da Vinci end up being the single most famous painting on the entire planet? Well, the answer is this incredible mix of artistic genius, some really cutting-edge science, and, believe it or not, one surprisingly simple crime. Let's dive in.
Our story actually starts not back in the Renaissance, but on a Monday morning in Paris, August 21st, 1911. Three guys who'd actually hidden overnight inside the Louvre just casually walk out with the Mona Lisa tucked under a blanket. They hop on an 8:45 a.m. train and are gone before anyone even notices she's missing. It would be more than 2 years before she was ever seen again.
Fast forward to today, and the painting is valued at nearly $1 billion. I mean, it's kept behind bulletproof glass in its own climate-controlled room. It's treated less like a painting and more like a world leader. That number alone tells you just how massive its cultural weight really is.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? Was the Mona Lisa always destined for this kind of greatness because of how brilliant it is? Or did something else, something totally different, launch it into the stratosphere? To figure that out, we've got to look at its story from a few different angles.
Now that heist is a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure, but we can't really understand its impact without first understanding the painting itself. So before we get into the crime, we have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay, let's rewind the clock about 400 years. The first mystery everyone always wants to solve is the most basic one. Who is the woman in the painting? For centuries, this was a huge debate.
The most accepted theory, and this one goes way back to 1550 from Leonardo's own biographer, is that she was a woman named Lisa Gherardini. She was married to a Florentine silk merchant, Francesco Giocondo, and it's thought that he commissioned the portrait to celebrate either them buying a new house or, more likely, the birth of their second son back in 1502.
And get this, her names are just a perfect fit for her legacy. Mona is short for Madonna, which in Italian means my lady. So Mona Lisa is literally just my lady Lisa. And her other name, La Gioconda, isn't just her married name, it also translates to the cheerful one. Kind of poetic, right? Considering that famous smile. But for the longest time, a lot of people just weren't buying it. All sorts of other theories started popping up. Was she Leonardo's mother? Some Italian noble? The wildest one, though, my favorite, was that the painting was actually a disguised self-portrait of Leonardo himself, imagining what he looked like as a woman.
Well, this is one mystery we can finally put to bed. In 2004, after decades of digging through old Florentine archives, it was confirmed. She really was Lisa Gherardini, painted when she was just 24. So, with her identity settled, we can move on to the painting's other great mystery.
Right, the smile. This is what everybody talks about. Is she happy? Sad? Is she smirking at us? Well, the secret isn't in her mood. It's all in Leonardo's totally revolutionary scientific and artistic techniques.
The key technique he used is called Sfumato. It's an Italian word that basically means to tone down or evaporate like smoke. Leonardo was a pioneer of this. It's a way of softening the transitions between colors so you don't have any harsh outlines. You can see it all over the painting, especially where her hair just seems to melt into that hazy background.
But here's the thing about Leonardo. He wasn't just an artist, he was a scientist. To get that smile perfect, he would spend nights in a hospital morgue, dissecting human faces to map out every single tiny muscle and nerve that controls our lips. He then took that anatomical knowledge and combined it with intense research into optics, how our eyes actually see light and shadow.
And you can see just how obsessed he was in his own notebooks. He wrote, "The muscles which move the lips are more numerous in man than in any other animal." He wasn't just painting a face. He was studying the actual mechanics of human expression like a scientist. So here's how the illusion works. It's brilliant. If you look directly at her mouth, your central vision, the part that sees fine detail, picks up that the line of her lips is actually pretty flat. She isn't really smiling. But the moment you look up at her eyes, your peripheral vision catches those soft sfumato shadows at the corners of her mouth, and that creates the illusion of a smile. He literally painted an optical illusion.
Okay, so we've got the woman's identity, we've decoded the smile, but the story's got another twist. What if the Mona Lisa we all know, the one in the Louvre, isn't the only one Leonardo painted?
I know, it sounds a little out there, but it's an idea that has gained some serious steam among art historians. There's real evidence that suggests there might have been an earlier version, almost like a prototype for the masterpiece we all know and love. Let's just compare them side by side. On the left, you've got the famous Louvre Mona Lisa, and on the right, what's known as the Isleworth Mona Lisa.
You can see the differences right away. The Isleworth version has these two big columns, the woman looks younger, her expression is way more direct, and the painting itself is even a little bit larger.
So what is going on here? Well, the theories are all over the place. Some experts think the Isleworth version was an earlier draft, something Leonardo was experimenting with. Others think Leonardo painted the important bits, the face and hands, and then had an assistant in his workshop finish the background. The truth is, it's still a really hot debate.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that heist in 1911. Because after all this talk about artistic genius and historical mysteries, the real answer to why the Mona Lisa is so famous, well, it has less to do with art and a lot more to do with crime.
The guy behind it all was Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman who had actually worked at the Louvre. He wasn't some master criminal trying to get rich. He was a nationalist who genuinely believed Napoleon had stolen the masterpiece and that it needed to be returned to its rightful home in Italy.
Okay, so here's the absolute key to the whole thing. Before the theft in 1911, the Mona Lisa was definitely known, for sure, respected in the art world, but she was not a global icon. It was only after she was stolen that she became a household name, a true pop culture superstar. For 2 straight years, the empty space on the wall where she used to hang was a tourist attraction in itself. People flocked to see it. Newspapers all over the world ran stories about the hunt. Her face was reprinted millions and millions of times. The theft literally turned her from a piece of art into an international celebrity.
And that leaves us with this one last thought. Is the Mona Lisa famous for being this incredible masterpiece of art and science? Or is she famous just for being famous? You know, the product of a massive media sensation that was sparked by a crime, creating this loop of celebrity that just keeps feeding on itself. It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining this